What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ATS Spot NFL Draft 2022 special episode. I'm FA Picks. That's Alpha Dog Bets right there. And we got a special guest that we're going to bring in. We're so happy to have her for this episode. None other than Steffi Smalls in the building for the episode. Welcome, Steffi. Thank you so much for being on with us, spending a little bit of time with us to go through the draft. How are you?
I'm good. It's draft week. I'm very excited. It's going to be chaotic as hell.
Yeah, it's in the QB heavy drafts like we had one last year, it's kind of like set up well. It's not so much chaos in the front. The QBs, the big franchise arms are going to go first. But in a year like this year, we're going to get on Thursday, where the QBs are kind of like, middle of the road, not supposed to be taken in the first 5 picks. One word, chaos.
100%. And it's the best time of the year. We talk about this all the time. Steffi, I know you're huge in the football world. It is the best time of the year, draft time, getting to see these college kids. If we watch for, 2, 3, 4 years, grow up, go to the NFL, and reach their dreams. So it's a big night. I love the event. Hefe, I know you love the event. I'm sure you do as well, Smalls. I'm excited to go into what we think is going to happen this year in the draft.
Yeah,
we're not used to it being exciting. So we've had several years of absolute pain as New York Giants fans. So to have a little bit of optimism that it's not going to be a disaster is actually really nice for once, but also really scary.
For sure. New regime.
Yeah.
We have multiple picks in the top 10. It's not like we're not always in the top 10 because it seems like every year we are in the top 10, but we got 2 picks this year. New regime. Should be exciting.
I'll tell you what, guys. My apartment is depressing as shit. I just realized. I got Knicks jerseys and Giants jerseys all around this bitch. And I just realized why I'm always in a bad mood. It's because I wake up, I walk out into my living room, and what do I see? A wall of pain. A wall of freaking pain.
It changes
That's all we've
on
known.
Thursday night. So
unbelievable. I'm embarrassed to tell you I have a Saquon Barkley signed jersey up there. It's probably worth
Mine's on the ground.
cents.
I took it off the wall. That's why my wall is bare. I took it off the wall. I can't do it right now.
7 cents.
Too traumatizing.
All right, everybody out there, non-Giants fans out there, don't worry. We're going to go through every pick between the 1 through 5. We're going to talk QBs. We're going to talk wide receivers. We're going to talk our favorite steals. We're going to talk all things fun. For me, the draft is honestly a top 3 betting day of the year, right up there with the Super Bowl, right up there with the NCAA tournament. I love it. The edges, the lines, the sides you could find. It's astronomical, honestly. There are more ways to gamble on the draft than there are on the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. So let's not waste anybody's time. Let's get right into it. We're going to start right at the top with the number 1 pick. The Jaguars earned that spot because they are the worst team in the NFL, and they are going to get the number 1 pick. And for probably the day after the regular season ended, up until, I don't know, what would you guys say, a week ago, it was Aiden Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson, and Aiden Hutchinson. And something happened not even around the combine. It was about a week ago where Georgia DN, Trayvon Walker, just got so much hype. And he had a great combine, a physical specimen, crushed almost every one of the tests that you can. But the guy only had 6 sacks on the year. And now he's a minus 190 to go first overall. Are we buying it? Smoke. Let's start with this. Smoke or no smoke? Are we buying Trayvon Walker named to be the first one called by Goodell? Steffi, we'll start with you.
Definitely.
It's the Jaguars. I think so. If it wasn't like that inept front office, maybe not. But I just think there's too much talk. It's too much of a debate. It's not even just these flat blanket statements. Like, it's way too much of a debate. We're talking about it too much. I don't think he should go first overall, but he definitely made a point for himself to be in that conversation as one of the top edges. So I get it.
I mean, I get it. And at the same time, I don't, because I feel like when you have the number 1 pick, you shouldn't have to make concessions and take gambles. You take the absolute best player on the board. It's the point of having the first overall pick. And you can't sit there and tell me on tape, on the field where it really matters, I don't care how many push-ups you can do, that Trayvon Walker is a better player than Aiden Hutchinson. And that's where I'm torn, because I agree with you. I think the talk that they're just how enamored they are with the combine that he had it. And let's give him some credit. He had an amazing combine. The guy is a physical specimen. The 40 he ran, the reps he did, the drills he can do, how quickly he is from side to side and up and down the field laterally. It's incredible. It's given Aaron Donald vibes, but Aiden Hutchinson is your typical leader, locker room guy. The Jaguars have never had that. Alpha, what do we think?
I agree with you 100%. I do think it's a mistake by the Jaguars, but I don't think it's smoke. I think they really are going to make this selection. He's the most athletic freak in the draft. He's been unbelievable. We know his intangibles. But at the end of the day, Aiden Hutchinson is a complete defensive player on the defensive line. We've seen what he's done, and he produces a lot more than Walker has. So for me, I think that it should be Hutchinson going first overall. He's the safer pick. But we do know Walker has the higher ceiling, so I understand why they're making it. Just not sure if the Jaguars are in a position to take a guy with a higher ceiling over more of a sure thing player like you're going to get with Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, agreed.
Should be looking for the least margin of a potential, like not transitioning well. Like there is a very high chance that he does not end up being exactly what you're looking for with your first overall pick. Is he going to be a great player in the NFL? Yeah, probably. But you want someone that's going to come in and perform tomorrow at the NFL level without error. And that's what you do with the first overall pick. And I mean, it doesn't shock me that it's going to be the Jaguars to make this mistake, but all the power to them.
I so agree. It's such a great point. Why even have that like risk potential, right? Why are you going with the higher ceiling pick?
Absolutely.
Go with the safe freaking pick. I mean,
and no one's taking him there. Like, then trade down, weirdo. Like, that doesn't, it just is, I don't know.
It makes no sense. But listen, all the power to Trayvon Walker, man. The Vegas shows, the number shows, doesn't matter what book you look at, but we're using FanDuel for the show of this purposes. And by the way, shout out to FanDuel. Fantastic book, and we'll be using them for this whole show's purposes. So it looks like Trayvon Walker going 1. So with that being said, that moves us to 2. The Lions, easiest pick of the draft in my opinion. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, guys. It's a match made in heaven. Aiden Hutchinson, star player in Michigan, whole family's from Detroit, lives in the Detroit, Michigan area. Him going to the Lions is a match made in heaven. I don't see any reason why they should even waste the entire clock on the draft day for this. If Trayvon Walker goes 1, Hutchinson's card should be handed in less than a minute. Anybody disagree?
No, it's a gift. Like, here you go. You're welcome.
It's a gift. The Jaguars are crazy.
They're reaping the rewards of the first pick here. It makes no sense to me, like we just stated, but a great pick to go 2nd overall. He could be a cornerstone for that team. A local, his family's from there, so it'll be a fun storyline. But to me, first of all, man in the back, you're really going to put Rutgers getting beat down on the background of the show. That's what you choose. Greatly appreciated from the Rutgers fan over here. But we move on. I think the draft really starts at 3, guys. I think that we all know who the consensus 1 and 2 are going to be. We didn't know always what the order was, but for the last couple of days, we did know who 1 and 2 are going to be, regardless of the order.
Yeah, so I guess I agree. I guess I agree. All right, 3rd pick. We got the wonderful, the really solid franchise, really head on their shoulders franchise, really knows what they're doing. Houston Texans, just really like top of the line right there with like the Browns, just speaking of. So obviously we know what happened with the Texans this offseason. They trade away Deshaun Watson. They are here at 3. And guys, it's been a whirlwind here. Out of nowhere, out of actually literally nowhere, today, Derek Stingley is getting steamed as the best odds to go at 3. If you don't know about Derek Stingley, I wouldn't blame you because he hasn't played in over a year for LSU. Last time he played, they won the college football championship. He took last year as a year away, and then now he's here as one of the best corner. I mean, the guy's a great cornerback. Let's not go crazy. His player kind is a Jamal Adams. He's a dog. One of those just really hard-hitting cornerbacks. He's a great player, but I just don't get it, guys. I'm sorry, I don't get it because there is enough. If you really are the Texans and you're sitting here and you need a cornerback, why the heck are you going with the player who hasn't played in over a year versus a player like Sauce Gardner who just had one of the greatest cornerback seasons ever? He's given up 0 touchdowns ever at Cincinnati. I don't get it, guys. Please, Steph, please explain it to me. Please, Steph.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Texans are not in a position, very much even like the New York Giants, because I've seen him also mock to us as well. Like, these are not franchises that are in the position to take on a guy with injury history. Not this high, not this early. But if they do it again, we're talking, there's a reason why these teams are picking in the top 5 because there's obviously something going on that has put them in that position to be drafting that high. I think, it wouldn't shock me either if Icky goes off the board. I would hate that because then, we're going to see the linemen start really flying off here. But again, Stingley, if he goes to the Texans, he goes to the Texans.
Do you think it's Stingley? I don't. I'm sorry, guys. I think it's smoke. I know the Texans are an inept franchise that barely get anything right, but I just can't imagine that this is what they do.
I don't know. I mean, you take a look. You're going and wondering why they're going to take a guy we haven't seen in a while. Who did we recently see get drafted last year out of LSU who we didn't see play for a while? How'd that turn out?
Oh, that's different, dude. That's
he was the best wide receiver in the class by far. Yeah. You're going to tell me a guy like Sauce Gardner was at Cincinnati. What was his level of competition? You're going to take a look at this guy and take a look at who he's played, and you know what he's done against top-level competition. And we've seen other situations in the past, like I just went over, where this has worked out for the team. So it's not crazy to me that they're thinking about making this move. But Sauce Gardner does seem like a sure pick. He does seem like he could be a cornerstone defensive corner for your team. So it's a difficult spot because, yet you haven't seen a guy. But when he has been there, he
had one of the best rookie performances ever of a cornerback in all of college history. I do get it, and they have another pick in the first round. So it's it depends. Are you willing to just go and get the guy? Okay, and the Texans probably seem like a team that would do that.
See, this is more of a spot to me where you can take a risk like this. Mm-hmm. Kind of on the opposite where the Jaguars, they're not going with Aiden Hutchinson. I think in this spot is 3. It's more easier to the fan base, easier to explain to anyone why you take a risk on a guy like this, especially because last year at the 6th spot, we saw a player in a very similar situation get picked and succeed in Jamar Chase. So we've seen history of stuff like this happening. Hefe, I know you personally are on Sauce Gardner to be the first cornerback. Don't let that influence you. Are you,
dude? Guys, I'll jump out. I live on the 14th floor of a high-rise apartment. I'll jump out the window. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And don't worry, everybody. This is not a PSA. I'll have all my friends, including Alpha, at my apartment on Thursday to move me back. As my windows do open all the way, I will jump right out.
Just wait till the Giants take Brees Hall.
Oh, please. Before we get to the Giants mess up, I think we should talk about our younger brother in New York, the New York Jets.
Let me just say something. I'm sorry. This is a best player available draft. And I get it, but the Texans are one of those teams, like most of the teams in the top 5, so many holes to fill. I don't think a secondary player is the way to go. It's just not. I would lean between Thibodeau or Ekwonu, honestly, here. I think an O-line can help. A really good O-lineman can help them. Possibly they're going to go for a quarterback later on in the draft. Maybe they trade for Baker or whatever they do at quarterback. Maybe they go with Davis Mills again, which wouldn't surprise me at all. But either way, protecting that quarterback would make their team better. Just off the bat, right off the rip. What do we always talk about when it gets down to playoff football? In the trenches is where it's won. Mm-hmm. D-line, O-line. You got to go with them. I mean, look at the Bengals, right? What did they invest in the absolute most in this offseason? Mm-hmm. O-line. Because you could tell Joey B was getting beat up, right? Opposite side, Rams, one of the better O-lines in the league. They win. You know what I mean? O-line is so important. I don't think we talk about that enough. Even though this is not that sexy draft, this is the draft where you can get key cornerstone players for years to come.
A lot of linemen this year's draft.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with me, I would go with Ekwonu here, or I would go with Thibodeau. I would not go with Sting. I'm sorry. Not at 3. That's wild.
Yeah, he also doesn't want to jump out of his building. But, guys, let's go on to the 4th pick.
We need Sauce, goddammit!
He needs it bad. Hefe, I'll let you kick it off. New York Jets. What do you think?
Man. Okay, so we got the Jets here at 4. And the thing is, this is the first of we have 2 picks in the top 10. Giants are obviously the second. So they have the 4 and the 10 here. So first things first, the possibility for a trade up probably starts right here for another team, right? Because the Jets would give that up. Also, on top of that, you have to think in your head, the Jets are in the Deebo Samuel sweepstakes. What do they do with that? Is it a possibility to give that 10th spot? If they do, does that change their spot at 4? But let's just play it as is, as they don't trade. Guys, I think the Jets go Sauce. I think they go Sauce. I really do. And if they don't go Sauce, I think they go Thibodeau. If the Texans don't, I think the Jets have not had a dynamic defensive player in a while. The last player is probably Jamal Adams. We all know how that ended. And even though Sauce reminds me a lot of Jamal Adams, really brash, really out there, talks his trash, talks his shit, but damn, does his freaking game make up for it. Steffi, tell me it wouldn't be the crazy. Come on, Sauce to the Jets is just like, it works.
Yeah, it does. And I feel like it's picking up a lot of steam too. But again, like you started talking about these guys like Thibodeau all of a sudden because he made this comment or that comment, despite his film not showing anything that should make you worried about Thibodeau, all of a sudden he's like falling down draft boards, which is crazy because you would never, that wasn't the case when this all started.
Yeah.
And I think he's a gift at 4. Like, I think that Thibodeau, and I love Sauce, and maybe this is me as a Giants fan wanting Sauce to be on my team, but I don't think you can go wrong with either of those guys at this spot if I'm the Jets. I know the Jets have been having a lot of conversations with Thibodeau, but again, you don't know what's smoke, you don't know what's not. But I think you can go with either here, realistically. I think Sauce going here, that starts to spice up this draft. That's when things start to get weird.
100%.
But I think it makes sense, though. It really makes sense. The Jets need a sexy player, guys.
Yeah.
They need that sexy player. They want that name. They want the kids to go out and get jerseys. You're a Jets fan right now. Whose freaking jersey you getting? Elijah Moore? Get the hell out of here.
No, I think Thibodeau's a sexy name at 4 as well. If you take a look at
he does fit that. Yes, I agree.
Guys, if you take a look at FanDuel right now, he is the betting favorite. He's coming in at plus 250 to go 4th overall to the Jets. You take a look at who's going to be the next betting favorite, and that is going to be Sauce Gardner at plus 350. So we're right in the realm here. All three of us are kind of saying the same kind of couple guys. And then Icky's coming in at plus 500. So the only surprise name on this list is Jermaine Johnson. First we're seeing his name kind of populate in the early pick. It is definitely smoke. I think that as well. I think it could be a guy like Thibodeau. I think they really need to improve the defensive line. But yet again, I think it all has to come down to, are they going to make a deal for Deebo Samuel? Because if they don't, wide receivers are now in play. So they're either taking a wide out at 4 or 10 if they don't make a trade. Honestly, it's probably going to be at 10. But I'm hearing it could be as early as 4. If the guy they want is on the board, and let's say they have their heart really set on Icky, and Icky's gone before they get there, they could take that wide receiver there because that's a need for that team. So the Jets are an interesting spot. I think they're the first real wild card. We don't really know what they're going to do. I would lean Thibodeau if I did have to pick one thing on this pick, though.
I kind of the Texans are going to dictate this pick, right? For the
100%. But that's what's going to go.
Yeah. Whatever way the Texans go, which I really don't believe it'll be Sting. If they go secondary, they'd be wild to take Sting over Sauce. But Texans might take Thibodeau. Who knows, right? But in my opinion, they should go with the safe pick here and take Icky. If they don't,
I don't think there's that much pressure for them to take a wide receiver here because they have that 10th pick, and I think that they're gonna they can pick whoever they want at 10. Like you can, they basically can pick whatever receiver. You
gotta watch out for the Eagles to trade.
The damn NFC East and trading up for a freaking wide receiver. Just stay put, homies.
Right now, they're
every year, anyways.
And also, guys, let's hold on. Let's take into consideration one important thing: the Jets. Please let me remind you the teams that they play and the wide receivers that they have in their division. Okay, let's go through it real quick. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle. You know what I mean? Like they need somebody back there.
They definitely do. And you're hearing rumors that they're willing to package, the Eagles are willing to package 15, 18, and Rager to move up. They have their eyes set on Jameson Williams, it looks like, from Alabama. It looks like that's the guy that they are targeting. It looks like that's who everyone's targeting at that 10 range. That's why his price is going down and down. You've seen him at 11.5 over under. Now you're seeing him at 10.5. It looks like if a team wants to get him, they're going to have to trade into the top 10, maybe 9.
Jameson Williams is a top 5 pick with a perfect ACL.
Absolutely.
He's a Tyreek Hill comp. He's got the speed, the elusiveness, the route running. He's the total package. And let's absolutely not forget where he went to college and how well he was coached. So he's a coachable stud. No injury, he's top 5. With this injury, which honestly, an ACL in the NFL right now is like breaking a toenail, right? The bounce back that these players have from ACLs isn't what it was 10 years ago. These guys bounce back. They haven't lost a step. He's so young. He's going to be fine. It's
especially on the receivers. It's like nothing.
Exactly.
It's like stubbing your toe at this point.
Exactly, Steph. Exactly. So we're either going to see a reach or a steal. Nothing in between for Jameson Williams.
I think we're going to see a reach and a steal. I think someone's going to go very early and get him and get a steal. I think he's going to be a great NFL player. I think some team's going to get very lucky by moving into that 8 or 9 spot and being able to take him above.
We're going to go back to Jameson Williams because we're going to talk a little later about who we think is the best fantasy player out of this draft. And I'll tip my hat. I think it's him. But let's go to number 5.
The pick of the millennium.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be having a panic attack.
Oh, I'll be in full-blown pace mode. I'll be screaming at LJ to put his phone away, put his phone away, put his phone away, put everybody put the phone away. I'm going to have at Alpha. I'm going to have a full-on, I'm going to have a fishbowl in my apartment where everybody's going to have to put their phone in there face down because I want no spoilers here. All right, guys. Steffi, go first. What do you think? What do you honestly think versus and break it down like this. What we need versus what we'll actually do.
I don't know why we wouldn't take Icky here. I think that is the obvious. If he is still here, which I don't know that that's going to be the case, because I could see the Texans trying to be cute and taking Icky there. And I think it makes me nervous because I'm not in love with Charles Cross, and I just can't be in love with him. Something about him, something about his tape. He's just a little bit lazy. It's not cleaned up, and it makes me nervous. Like, I want someone that I feel like can come in and actually put a Band-Aid on this gaping wound that we've had. I think that he has a lot of versatility he can play on, but he can play all over. So I think Icky is the right choice. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I think Icky's going to end up going probably before, and we'll probably go with freaking Charles Cross, and I'll be okay. But I did cry when we drafted Andrew Thomas, so I am not, I guess
Definitely no dramatics here on the crying on Andrew Thomas. But guys, on the 5th overall pick, the odds on FanDuel right now are pointing towards Charles Cross. Right now, he's coming in at plus 175 for the pick. Second best odds are Ahmed Sauce Gardner coming in at plus 350. And third is Steffi's pick, Icky Ekwonu. You can get it plus 400. I think that's all the fans' choice right now. I think we all would love to get Icky in this spot. But I think he is going to be gone here. I could see the Giants taking Cross. Hefe, do you think this is the spot that the Giants trade back? I could see this thing one.
No, I don't. And if we do, I will jump out my window. We cannot afford to.
The Giants have no cap. The Giants have no cap. They need to do something. So are they either trading a player on draft day or are they trading picks?
This is easy. You take the best talent on offensive line available at this pick, and you don't think twice. Icky's there, you take Icky. Icky's gone, you take Cross. Done. Goodbye. I don't see a situation where they take Neal. I love Neal as a physical specimen, but I think he's a little banged up, and there's some underlining injuries there that could be worrisome. So take Charles Cross.
What if Walker fell?
There is not a shot. Vegas.
I'm just saying he was never even supposed to be going that early. And what if he ends up falling?
No, if we see him at 3, if he's still on the board at 3, 4, there'll be a trade immediately.
Probably the trade. If Walker's not there, that would mean that they would go Hutch. Lions at 2 would have they would have a meltdown scenario. I don't even know who they would choose. I guess they would probably go Icky, right? They need O-line help. Did they go Thibs? I don't know. Then at 3, the Texans are in a situation where they'll probably take Thibs or they would take Icky. 4 would be Sauce probably at that point. No way. Giants have to get an O-line. They know the Giants' most important thing this year is Daniel Jones's test. It's the
10 days
test. Right? It's the what 10 days to what?
10 days they have to decide if they're going to extend them for the last year.
Well, they're going to do it. You know they are. And it's to protect themselves. They'll do it to protect themselves. But they have to go all in.
I don't think they're doing it. Everything I'm reading, everything I've been looking up, looks like the Giants are not going to do that. This is going to be a make or break deal for Daniel Jones. They want the pressure to be there. He's not going to have a contract for the next year. Go earn a contract.
Mm-hmm. But if you're going to make him earn a contract, then go get him protection too.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So in any way, I really, really do believe, guys, this is an offensive line pick. You take the best available. If they don't take an offensive line, if they get freaking cute with this and take a sexy player, I'll lose my mind. And I don't even know who that sexy player could be.
I mean, we should have taken one last. It's ridiculous that we did not draft a lineman last year.
It's
like layers behind.
You don't like Darius Tony?
It's not that I don't like him. It's just like, why are we literally ignoring the most blatant? Like, you even go and you draft a Gary Brightwell. Like, take a lineman at that point, please, for the love of God.
Yeah. The Giants have 2 picks in the top 10. At least one has to be a top 3 lineman in this draft. It just has to be. We don't have any other options.
Let's move right.
Who thinks that's going to happen? It seems like the GM and the new coach, everything they have going on in New York is indicating that they want to build up the trenches, which for us Giants fans is refreshing. It's been a while.
Yeah. So let's move on right with that conversation. Right, we're gonna skip the Panthers at 6, and we're gonna go right to the Giants' second pick at 7, guys. I'll start off with this. This is the spot for Sting. And this is where I want, and I want Sting. I think the Giants have to have this draft as impact offense, impact defense. No sexy shit. I don't want to see a wide receiver. I don't want to see nothing like that. I want Sting. I want a nice hog molly on offense, and I want a hard hitting cornerback back there. Like, remind me of Landon Collins.
Oh God,
I want Sting. That would be a good draft for me. Cross and Sting, or Icky and Sting, any which way.
It's
you want to do
nearly
it.
impossible to mess this up.
Like, if I will say this, I will say this, guys.
I knocked on wood.
I'm gonna knock on wood, but I will say this: if it's the opposite, and let's say Sting goes at 3, which is somehow where he's projected to go, and Sauce is there, God, if you're listening, please,
I will
give
lose
me
my
Sauce.
mind.
You know who I think we're going to get?
Who?
I think Thibodeau is going to fall. He's prime fall candidate for this 7 spot.
I'd be okay with that. But let's not forget the Panthers, who are sneaky at 6, and they have already ruled out the fact they're not trading for Baker.
They can pick it. Plus 130
I'm
now.
down. I'm totally cool with us trading down from this spot. Let's do it. Like, you
know what?
One...
It'd be amazing.
I could see that. I could see the Eagles coming in here and this be their spot for Jameson Williams. They're scared. They're scared of the Jets at 10, and also you got to be scared of the Falcons at 8, right? Falcons need a wide receiver bad. I think the Falcons probably go more of a Drake London.
A lot more. You think they're going to take a receiver? They're about 38 positions away from taking a receiver. They need a line. They need line on both ends. They need linebackers. They need secondary. They need an entire defense. The only thing that team has is a tight end.
Dude, hold on. Calvin Ridley decided to pretend that he's one of us, and he's out forever. Julio Jones is gone with the wind. Russell Gage is gone. Russell Gage is gone. They got Kyle Pitts. They have Marcus Mariota as their starting quarterback right now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really great. They need something. They can go in a number of directions here. I know we're going off script here. Man in the back, we're ready on talking about pick number 8 here. But I think it's the best player available draft. And at 8, if we take Sting, if the Panthers at 6 take a Pickett or maybe a trade out there, and the Eagles come in, right? Or the Giants come out of 7 and the Eagles come in and they take a Jameson Williams, the Falcons are going right into reach mode, panic mode, and taking a wide receiver.
Would that shock you though?
No.
100%, I agree. They're a total candidate to have that happen. But if we're going to go over the 8th pick already, oh God, I think we could see Garrett Wilson finally go receiver at the 8th spot.
That brings me right into our next question, guys. First wide receiver taken off the board. Right now, the betting favorite is Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Do you think that's the case, or do we truly believe that somebody is going to take the bait, and I don't even want to call it bait, take the risk, I guess, and take James Williams, who, with no ACL injury, is by far not only a top 5 player in this draft. Forget wide receivers; wouldn't even be a topic. What do you think, Steffi?
I'll raise you on. What if Drake London goes first?
I love Drake London, man. I really do.
What if all of this is like to just make sure that Drake London is there.
Who do you think would take Drake? Who do you think that?
Washington could easily do that. Someone could trade up thinking that Washington's going to do that and try to come up. I think Drake London fits into onto a lot of rosters. I think with Washington too, like, Diami Brown I don't want to say he didn't work out because he didn't have the best opportunity, but you have Curtis Samuel, who I barely saw the field. Who else is even McLaurin, who, again, like, if you're going to bring on Carson Wentz, which we won't even start to talk about that, if you want to make that decision, like, I hope your intention is to give him options, because we see what he does when he does not have open options. So maybe they go and find a big receiver that can win, is contested catch king, and can get yards after the carry, because it's kind of a perfect match if you're going to go. And I don't know why they took Wentz, but they did. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think I think the Jets take someone at 10, and I don't know if I see them going London.
I think someone's going to jump the Jets. I really do. If you take a look at the FanDuel odds for first receiver selected, Garrett Wilson's coming in at -125 as the heavy favorite. He's in the minus. The second best odds are Jamison Williams coming in at +200, and that's Drake London at +250 for London, though, which is a lot closer than it was. So I think Smalls is on here. It seems like
I like London. Me personally, I think he has one of the greatest chances to be the best superstar of this draft because of his build, as a style of play. This is a big-time receiver, big body. Not the best route runner, but one of the he is Mike Evans. He is so Mike Evans. It's not even funny. Throw the ball up, he's gonna get it. He's bigger than your cornerbacks, bigger than your safeties. He can take hits, he can take contact, yards after the carry type of stuff. I love Drake London. There is no way he makes it to 11 at the Commanders. He won't make it past the Jets at 10 if he's there. I don't think Wilson does too. I think Wilson is the first one off the board unless the Falcons want to get sexy and take a. I do think the Falcons take a wide receiver. I'm really certain. Like I'm just looking at the team right now. You're not going to set up Marcus Mariota.
Okay, but what if Evan Neal were to fall?
And what if they also trade back? They could also trade back, get multiple picks, and not use a first-round pick on a receiver in the draft as well. I don't think it's like Atlanta.
What if Evan Neal was to fall? Could I say something crazy?
Well, Charles Cross, we didn't even take. Who did we give Charles Cross?
Yeah, I
we
think
still have two guys left.
I don't know. I think Cross goes to the Giants. And guys, I know you're gonna look at me like, what? I think the Panthers might take Neal. I don't
think so.
Yeah, I don't.
It could happen. I just really think the Panthers.
I don't know.
The Panthers are at the perfect spot to have someone trade up to, because they have that pick, and then they don't pick again until something absurd. Like then they could pick up another selection somewhere that they don't have one, because I mean we're talking they don't have one I think until like 100. It's something absurd. I would have to look it up, but it's something crazy. So they're in a good spot where if I'm them, no matter what they do, I don't know that this team is in a good position. So do you try to trade down, get yourself a second-round pick, and then you can still take a Sam Howell or someone that ends up being
Maddie?
I don't know.
I'm really unsure.
Information on this. So Carolina's draft pick is number 6. Their second pick is 137. You have to wait 130 picks to get to their second. Great point there. They have no pick until the end of round 4, guys, and then they have another pick in round 5. So,
let's not act like this isn't a draft that there is QB needy teams. Just because the QBs are not that attractive and sexy, that does not mean that all these teams do not need a quarterback. I mean, like 100%. We're even talking about the Saints. Like the Saints, the Saints made that weird trade a couple months ago, whatever it was. Look at even the Lions. They have the 32nd pick. Do they go and try to take someone? So Carolina they're gambling with fire at that spot. So if I'm them, I'm trading out of it, because if you're going into the year with Sam Darnold, God bless you.
Okay, so let's take it from right there. Let's just move on right from there. What they're trading out, I agree. Great trade out spot. I don't care about what team is trading in, but who are you trading in for? Who are you trading in for? Is it a quarterback? Is this where you think is the quarterback slot, or do you think somebody's trading?
Or is it a wide receiver trying to jump the Jets?
And Steffi, me and you are thinking the same. I don't think this is the slot to take to jump up for the QB, because you got the Giants, then you got the Falcons. I guess the Falcons could technically be in the QB market, but
so could Seattle too. You got 6,
so
7, 8,
Seattle-
9.
Seattle at 9. Guys, the sexiest QB, his name is Baker Mayfield. He's
Oh my
not.
God.
That's
He's
the sexiest.
expensive. These teams are poor.
Malik Willis is the sexiest name right now with the biggest upside. But also, I think a team could trade up to get one of these extra linemen that we haven't had go with the cross. There's so many variables, and it all comes down to who goes third overall. That is going to be the domino effect of what is going to happen in this draft. Whoever goes third is going to set up what happens 4, 5, 6, 7.
Give me one name. We'll go around because we need an answer. First wide receiver selected. Steffi, what do you got?
Jameson Williams.
Alpha?
You can maybe go Garrett Wilson.
I'm going Jameson Williams too. I think that's a trade-off spot. I think whoever
Good
trades up
value.
at 6, I think you get Jameson Williams. All right, let's move on to our next question. What do we got, man, in the back? I don't even know where we're at, honestly. First quarterback select. This is a good one. All right. I mean, the top names, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis. You got the lower names like Matty Corral, Desmond Ridder. What do we think? They're not sexy, but they don't got to be sexy to be great players and for a team to take a chance on them. So, Steffi, I'll start with you. You could tell me what team you think is in a draft, but overall, I'm just looking who you think is the first quarterback to go in this year's draft.
I want to say Malik, but again, I don't think it's outside of, I think that Carolina could just go, okay, we're taking Kenny Pickett here with all the connections that they have. I don't know why they would want to do that, especially at that spot. I think they could trade down and do it, but I think Malik, once a quarterback goes off, people are going to be bugging. And I think if people trade down and those teams start sliding up that need a quarterback, someone's going to end up. I still think the Steelers are in the Malik game. I know they're not a team that makes a lot of trades during a draft, and I get that, but they're also not a team that just decides they're going to blow it up and go full rebuild. So next year, that's not going to be their motive. So I think if they have a Mitch Trubisky who can at least be in games, win games with them, and he is also a vet. He's had success in this league. And you can bring in Malik, who, again, all these guys, none of them are super polished. Like they're all have their big knocks on them, and they're somewhat of a project. So I think the Steelers, if depending on, again, how the board goes, if they don't think they're going to get the guy that they want, I think the Steelers are still in the market for this, but could they try and wait for him too? So I think Malik goes first because I think some of these teams are going to get pressured. Like, you're telling me Seattle is going to pass on Malik Willis? I don't know about that. That's absurd to me.
Alpha, I don't even want you to answer. I will let you answer, but I want you to give me a yes or no answer, nothing more. Does Baker Mayfield get traded in the next 48 hours?
Yes.
Oh, Steffi, yes or no?
Next, how many?
Next 48 hours by the end of round 1. No.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I struggle with this so much, but I think yes. And a team would be, what's the value? It can't be a first. It can't be a second.
Or the third and the fourth.
We're talking about I think a third and a fourth. And at this point, if you're a team like the Steelers, I get it. I get it. You want to go with a Malik Willis, or you want to go with the hometown kid, Kenny Pickett. I understand. But maybe you go for a guy who's a pretty damn solid starting quarterback, who's kind of been handed a crappy hand and really been kind of crapped on in the media. You put him with a coach like Mike Tomlin, no BS coach. I mean, character issues out the window. You're not getting away with that shit in Pittsburgh, right? We saw what happened with Juju. You want to do TikToks? Go do it in Kansas City.
And bro, he's had every receiver on the planet. He's had every opportunity to be fine, and he has not put his whole heart and passion into football.
Pittsburgh is a good system. It's a good system team. It's a system team. They don't play to the player. They play to the system.
But if Watson gets suspended, I think that they're going to hang on to him. Unfortunately,
that would be a great. You cannot. You're not sitting there telling me that.
I think he's screwed. I'm sorry. I do. I think Baker made the mistake. The Browns are one of the most petty organizations in this entire league. And I think they're going to hang on to him. I think they're going to be annoying, or they're going to wait. Yeah, I do. And I think he kind of deserves to. He shouldn't have opened his mouth either. Shut your
That
mouth.
would be
Maybe
so
if you
crazy.
asked for a trade appropriately, like a grown adult, then they would have traded you. But now you put yourself in a crap situation, and guess what? They need a backup quarterback.
That's true.
And they have a great roster, and it's like you're a fantastic backup quarterback in that situation if Watson does get suspended for X amount of games. So I think Baker's screwed. He's expensive. No one's going to want to take him on, and he's also like kind of been a brat. Why does one of these teams that needs a quarterback who are already a mess want to take him on? I'd rather go and wait and take Ritter later on.
I think you could see an NBA type deal where they will pay to get him off the books by giving additional draft capital.
That's fair.
Player and win now. They're going to get Deshaun Watson now to win now. They need that cap to get other pieces to complete the roster. So I do think he ends up getting moved because of the cap, and they don't want to be paying that much money to a backup quarterback. I have a little bit of value I like with the quarterbacks in this year's draft. So if we take a look at the board right now on FanDuel, we take a look at the positions market, you're going to see that Malik Willis is minus 140 to go first overall as quarterback. I do believe in that, but I'm not going to play a minus 140 on that. What I am going to play is I am going to play Malik Willis to the New Orleans Saints at plus 750. I think there's a ton of value there. I think he could end up on that team. So for a plus 750, I am going to take that flyer. And
is that your first quarterback?
I think he's going to be the first quarterback selected, absolutely. And I think the Carolina Panthers are going to trade out of the 6th spot, and they are going to end up with Kenny Pickett at plus 150 right now on the odds for Pickett to go to Carolina directly. That way you don't have to bet on them going on the specific pick number. So you don't have to have Kenny Pickett going under, first top 10. You don't have to have Kenny Pickett going at pick number 6. You could take him directly to go to them at plus 145. So I think
I agree.
And then Malik Willis plus 750 to the Saints, I think has some insane value as well. So those are the two plays I'm going to be making on the quarterback. But who I do think is going to go first overall is Malik Willis.
I agree, guys. I'm going to go Malik Willis first quarterback selected. I don't know what team he goes to. I think it depends on the trade backs. For example, if the Eagles trade up, they have the 19th pick, and they have another one that I think is before the Saints. So which one of those would they trade to move up with the Panthers? If it's the one before the Saints, the Panthers are going to have their pick of the litter. You taking Pickett over Willis in that situation?
Yeah, they are.
I would assume so, but so that would mean that Pickett would go first, right? But based on how it is based on how it is right now, I'm gonna go Malik Willis. One more question on the quarterbacks, then we'll move on, guys. The over/under for the first round is at 3.5. Heavy juiced on the under. Steffi, over/under 3.5 QBs in the first round.
It's very tempting to take the over here. I think that there's really listen. I understand that they are not an attractive. I get it, but this is the National Football League, and you cannot win games without a freaking quarterback. So guess what?
Amen.
If that's your option, you put yourself in that position. So there's teams that need quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are going to go, and I think they're going to go sooner and faster than people think. I think a lot of these teams took Band-Aids. I think if value falls to them, they're going to take them. There's plenty of teams. Like if people even, again, like forgetting about the Saints, that's a team that Seattle is not going into the year with Drew Lock. I literally promise you guys that.
There's no way in hell, but come on. I don't want to go back to this, but Stephanie, come on.
Pickett, Ritter, Corral. I mean,
you're going to take Ritter or Corral instead of Baker? This is crazy.
Corral over Baker, absolutely. There's 4 teams, guys. There are 4 teams that are in the running to get a quarterback in the first round. The Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, the Steelers, and maybe even the Lions. 5 teams that have all shown interest this year. Those are 5 potential quarterbacks.
I think the Lions take it would surprise me now the more I've done these mock drafts if the Lions don't take a quarterback there at 32. Because guess what? They get to see who falls. I guess if it's not someone they want, fine. But they could still have the chance of getting a Ritter, getting a Corral. And I think those are 2 very good projects to take on for a team that's headed in the right direction. For a team that you guys can hate on Jared Goff. Again, has had success, a lot of success in this league, whether you like it or not. He is a fantastic bet to have to sit behind. And I think the Lions should draft someone at 32.
I think you guys bringing up the Lions brings up a really interesting point to me. I think the Lions sitting at 32, last pick of the first round, is going to cause another team to jump them and take a quarterback.
Exactly.
And that's where I think it happens. You see the Lamar Jackson effect, right? Ravens traded into the last of the first round. They were scared. I forgot who had the first pick in the second round, but regardless, they draft, they take Lamar Jackson at the last pick. I think you see somebody jump the Lions, and I do like, for this bet's purposes, I do like the over 3.5 quarterbacks first round, and that's in the plus money, guys. Let's move on. We got two more topics to talk about. Next one is who we think the Jets are going to take at 10. We pretty much all agreed that they need a wide receiver in this spot. It makes sense. They got to put somebody with Elijah Moore. So let's just go around. I'll go first. I think it's Garrett Wilson. I think it goes Jameson Williams. I think the Falcons do take Drake London, and I think the Jets end up with Garrett Wilson. Steffi, how about you? Who do you think the Jets take at 10?
I am going to go Williams. I just like his fit. It's something about this Drake London thing. There is some kind of smoke about Drake London. Do the Jets even try to finagle their way to trade down 2 spots and then get London and then someone else goes up? No, but I do think that London is someone to keep your eyes on. I'm going to go Jameson Williams though.
Okay. Taking a look at the FanDuel odds, guys, I know I keep saying that, but it's good to put into perspective to see what the books think is the favorite for this spot. Right now, they have the favorite to go 10th as Jameson Williams to the Jets, followed by Garrett Wilson, only at 100-point differential on the betting line. I'm going to be with you guys. I am going to go with Jameson Williams. If there isn't a trade, I do still think someone could trade up and take Williams at 9 to jump the Jets, like the Eagles, like we've been talking about. But if there is no trade and it currently sits how it sits, give me Williams.
Yeah. All right, guys. Last question of the day. Who do we think is going to be the best fantasy player out of the draft? Because it has to be a first-round player. Could be one of the running backs that goes in the second round, like Breece Hall. But who do we think?
Yeah. You have to say Breece Hall before I could say, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Why? You think you go first? Go. You think he's going to be the best fantasy player?
I do. He was a dynamic back in college. I think he could catch the ball to the backfield pretty well as well. Whoever gets him is getting a dynamic back who can play all 3 downs, and I think that he will be the most productive back out of the class. And I like to take running backs as the most productive fantasy players as rookies. So give me Breece Hall. That's my selection. Thanks for stealing.
He's a toss-up, man. He's mocked right now to go in the second round, which I
like him to go to the Bills.
Going the Bills, 100% going the Bills. I'm so happy.
That would be such a good pick.
I know. It would be awesome because
in the first round,
if the Bills want to go to the Super Bowl, they need to establish the run. You can't do that. So what do? You draft a running back. Done.
You're saying in the first round, right?
End of the first round.
Yeah, end of the first round. Yeah,
they have totally pick 26. Who cares? Who are they going to pass on? They have a well-rounded roster.
They have an amazing roster. They have enough defense. They don't need it. They don't need any help on a wide receiver. They have a great O-line, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Could they use a tight end? Yeah. But anyway, I agree. I think it's Hall. And I give a little side note. I wish I knew a little bit more about Jameson Williams' injury, how long he'll be out, but I can't take him this year because of the injury. But long term, I think Jameson Williams is going to be the best star out of this draft from a position player perspective. I truly believe that. The way he torched Georgia in the SEC championship game is something I'll never forget, ever. He made them look like children, and then you saw how good Georgia's defense was in the national championship and even the college football semifinal. He ran them. But for this season, best fantasy rookie, I like Hall, and he's a perfect fit on the Bills. Put your
eyes on Trey McBride too, because I think Trey McBride is going to end up getting taken by a team that is very tight end needy, and he's going to play day one, kind of how we saw Freiermuth. And if that ends up being, I'm leaning into the idea that maybe Cincinnati goes and does that at the end because they could end up losing the opportunity to get him, and they need a tight end. Hayden Hurst is not going to do it. What's the other guys on the? I mean, these are guys you have not heard their names, and you don't even know who they are. That's what their depth looks like there, and they've addressed the O-line. I don't want to I think it'll be 50 years from now and everyone will be like, oh, the Bengals need an O-line. No, they did stuff this offseason. They did stuff last offseason. This trenches class is quite deep. I think if they want to go and take McBride there, they do it. Or do they trade out to the top of the second and then take him there? But I think he's a really nice fit for a team like Cincinnati that's well-rounded. And what are they missing? They're missing a dominant tight end. And that's what you would get in Trey McBride, and you'd start tomorrow and Yeah.
It's a good point. You're looking for day one starters, day one impact players when you talk about fantasy. Last thing I'll say, and then Alpha, you will close out with this question, is if the Falcons do take a wide receiver and it is Drake London, look out for that. He is a plug. He would be a plug-in wide receiver 1.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out. They don't got anybody else. Pitts is a tight end. So when we talk about usage, receptions, yards, all that crap, whoever the Falcons take a wide receiver, if it is Drake London, look out for him on the fantasy boards. But to be safe, I'm taking Hall, especially if he goes to the Bills. He is a plug-and-play RB1. That offense is built to run and gun, and they just have not been able to do that.
100%.
Anything from you, Alpha?
No, that's it. It's been a great show. Excited for the draft on Thursday night. Full transparency, it is Tuesday night at 7 p.m. here Eastern time with us. So it's been great chopping it up with you guys. Thank you to Steffi for tuning in with us. It was amazing having you here. If you guys don't already follow her, which I'm sure you do, but if you do not, check her out on the Bluebird at Steffi Small. She'll be tagged in this video. So we appreciate you being with us. Hefe, do what you do. Close us out, baby.
Everybody, this has been the NFL Draft 2022 special sponsored by the ATS Spot. Once again, thank you everybody who watched this. We hope we'll drop some winners for you, and we hope your team drafts the player that you want. Shout out to Alpha. Shout out to Steffi. I'm Hefe Picks. Enjoy the draft, everybody. Peace.
Go Jaguars.